Hello everyone, my name is Belle. I wanted to start a little series on my channel where essentially I will read one specific genre for the entire week, whether that be fantasy, horror, thriller, romance, dark romance, etc. And we're going to start the series off with romance. I hope sometimes lonely. Because of that, you actually don't want to watch or read any romance things because it just makes you sad. That's how I'm feeling now. But good thing that wasn't how I was feeling when I filmed all these. Hello everyone. Today I wanted to kind of just tell you about Predator. I am this much through it and I kind of just wanted to give you my thoughts and opinions and tell you what this is. So this book, this is what the back says if you wanted to, pause it and read it. This book was especially printed for me. I ordered off this website, Booktopia, and they were like, yeah, we're specially printing this for you, so because of that you can't refund it. It's got the same paper and the same font, I believe. That's irrelevant. I think it's even the same size book, which again is relevant. Even the same color scheme. Anyways, this book follows Tristan and Marana. I really like that name. Our sister was called Marana. It has the contents page. I like when books have a contents page. Do I ever use it? No. But, and to you, my new readers, I hope this book gave you a great escape for a few hours. Thank you for choosing to read me. Has this book given me an escape when I read it? Yes, so ticked that box, because sometimes when I'm reading books, sometimes I'll read things and it'll transport me back to certain periods of my life and I'm like, I don't want to be remembering that. It mentions Nietzsche, when you gaze into the abyss also gazes into you. I feel like that quote, it's in so many books and movies. Well, I mean, it's Nietzsche, so the men in the prologue, they're bad guys. Essentially, the book opens up and Marana is at this ball. What happens is she has this code, like Penelope Garcia. She has this code and it can basically expose a lot of powerful people. The code has been stolen and the man she thinks has stolen it is Tristan. So she's at this ball and her plan is to basically confront him and get hit from him, the code. That's her plan. She's wearing a wig. Keep that in mind. She says the wig is itchy. Ignoring the itch from her wig, Marana just observed. Ignoring the itch from her wig. Keep that in mind. Yes, this book is written in third person, which I love. I love when books are written in third person because sometimes when I'm in first person, the character's thoughts, they make me think unkind thoughts. Yes, she's at this event, right, trying to get the code back. She's trying to do a blitz attack. There's some guy there and his nickname is The Wall, that's his name. The Wall. And Tristan is the Predator. I feel like it's not really the best name because when you typically think of a predator, you think of someone who is on those online chat rooms. That's who you think of. I think it's supposed to be he's a lion, kind of at the top of the food chain, kind of eats the gazelles and stuff. I'd love to be a gazelle, to be so nice and elegant. And you guys know Open Season? Yeah, there's a gazelle there. I think her name is Giselle. Yeah, see, I wouldn't mind being a gazelle. They're actual enemies. I feel like the main thing I say is that this book was marketed as enemies to lovers and it actually wasn't. Well, this book is marketed as enemies to lovers and they actually are because they try to kill each other. And it's not just they had, one pitiful fight 10 years ago and that's why they're enemies. I will be getting others, I will. But these books are expensive. So I think I'm going to have to space out my reading. So maybe after finish reading this, in a few months you'll see me read the next one. So page 12, why did he say that? What did he say? Oh, yes. And you should know to never sneak up on a predator. Once we catch the scent of your blood, it's a matter of the hunt. Okay, there's a lot of lines like that in this book. Yes, and this is what I talked about. Yes, the mistake about her hair. Remember, she said that it was a wig. I showed you the evidence. I literally showed you the evidence of where she said that her wig was itchy, right? Went on here. Page 17, and I'll show it to you because like I said, I like to show evidence if I can. Where is it? After last week, she dyed her previously blonde hair to chestnut. After last week, So what? You're telling me she was blonde but she was wearing a blonde wig? I don't think so. Because if you're blonde, why would you wear a blonde wig? I know there's different types of blondes. But still, she was wearing a wig, so why would she change her natural hair color? After last week, she dyed her previously blonde hair to chestnut, trying to shake off the grim remnant. Actually, maybe, she says she did that often, change her hair color. So maybe she was wearing a blonde wig, but had blonde hair underneath, which I feel like that's very silly. I feel like if your natural hair color was blonde and you were trying to evade suspicion, you would have a completely different hair color. There's no specificity into what kind of blonde, so we're just left to make our own assumptions. I'm sorry, but I know this is in books. I'm here to, read a book My perfume smells nice. I feel like I'm here to read a book and then give you a review, give you thoughts and opinions, and then you can make your own assumptions and decide whether or not you want to read the book or not. That's what I'm doing. So yes, I said here, I'm imagining her hacking like Garcia, Penelope Garcia from Criminal Minds. I think I want to rewatch Criminal Minds, but honestly, I'm going to stop as soon as... There's a character in Criminal Minds, yes, and I feel like if I did rewatch it, I would stop when he left, because then when he left, then everyone else leaves. And I wouldn't watch the last few seasons. And the only reason why I watched the last few seasons was just so I could say I watched every single episode of Criminal Minds. Do I regret it? No, because I like saying that, and I don't want to be like, oh, well, I watched pretty much every episode of Criminal Minds except the last few seasons. But if I was to rewatch it, there would be some episodes I'd skip. Maybe I might wait a few years, because I used to have the best memory ever in the entire world, and now I don't. Like, now I really struggle to remember what I did yesterday. Now I really remember to struggle with what I did today. Like, what did I do today? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I went to work. That's it. And further than that, oh yeah, actually, no. I did see a guy getting slapped by his girlfriend. It was very strange. I was walking in. And you know when you can feel someone looking at you? I was like, okay, so I turned and I made eye contact with this guy. And then out of nowhere, this girl, well, I'm assuming it's his girlfriend because she was holding his hand. She just slaps him. I just kept walking. Remember the code I was telling you about? Well, essentially some things happen and now they're working together, Tristan and Miranda. They're working together. I will admit, I am laughing a little about the dialogue and the situations. And it's not funny. It's not supposed to be funny. It seems to be not funny at all, but like part of me is just like, I'm laughing a little tiny bit. He does call her a wildcat, which is very, like a wildcat? Like the animal, like a mountain lion? No. The mountain lion is different to a wildcat, isn't it? Wildcats. And I feel like, I feel like it's a sports team possibly called the Wildcats. Probably. This book it's a little bit goofy, but it's fine. It's not lots of inner monologue because obviously it can't be inner monologue when it's first person, but there's a lot of the adjacent of like lots of inner monologue for first person because it's in third person. The last thing I have before then, nothing, is, I'll find it. I said, in my notes, I said, reminding me of that podcast guy where he's like, women want someone who can kill them. Watching with the ease which he did all of this, Miranda suddenly realized how easy it must have been for him to kill her at any moment. And that was not a knowledge she liked having. Whereas if you've seen that podcast guy, he said something about women being with a guy and knowing that he could kill her. He basically said something along the lines of that women would like to be with a guy who she knew could kill her. I'm not lying about this. Like, the point is that if he can kill her, then he's strong. And it's like knowing that he wouldn't. First of all, sir, speak for yourself. I don't think so. Anyways, that's what I have, and I'll update you when I have more to say. I'm covering my mouth because where I am is kind of exposed, and I don't want anyone knowing that I'm talking. Is it obvious that I'm talking? I should be a ventriloquist. Basically, I arrived here early today because I wanted a spot on the ground because it's raining, and tell me why. It's like 9 o'clock. Okay, it's not. It's like 9:30. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, but there's no one up here. Well, there is. There's a car like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots next to me. No one wants to walk in the rain. I guess I'll just have to do it. I need to do my hair and my makeup. I brought a book with me. The Predator. It's a little bit camp, yes? I'm not using that word correctly. It's not really what I was expecting. I've got a very nice view here. Let me show it to you. Oh, look at that, a building. I need to do my makeup and hair, so after I do that, then I'll read, I guess. Because like I said, I got here early for no reason. Yeah, that's my update. Oh, a friend? Oh, why can't you see him? There, look at a friend. I feel like this quality is really bad. These are not notes. Well, these are notes, but they're not. Basically, ChatGPT wrote an essay about OCD, and then I had to like critique the essay. Like this, and I'm gonna change of scenery because I feel like I'm always in my room, but I feel like the lighting is horrendous in here. Would it be better if I turn off the light? Do you like my Harry Styles shirt? And no, this is not pajama pants. Everyone always asks that. Is that better? I don't know if it's the lighting or what, but I feel like this is not looking good to me. Whatever. Where are my notes for this book? Have I said this? There is so much inner monologue in this book. Be prepared. I've definitely read books where there has been more inner monologue, but there is still a lot of inner monologue. So, there is a situation on page number 47 where, I better investigate this. Yes, she is climbing up the pipes to a house, and all I could picture in my mind was Romeo and Juliet. I was like, this is literally Romeo and Juliet right now. Also, this book is called The Predator, right? And what is the predator in the animal kingdom? A lion. This dude generally thinks that he is part of the animal kingdom. She's like to him, you've scaled walls. I know what you are. You're a reptile. And he's like, But yeah, he does think that he's a part of the animal kingdom. Also, you guys, I think we get it. His voice is like whiskey. It is described like that so many times. And you know, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean. But I feel this book is, dare I say, corny. Like, there are so many things that are said, and it's meant to be serious, and it's meant to be like, oh, wait, that's scary. But like, it's just not. It's just annoying or cringy. And there's so many situations where like I'm laughing a little bit, and I shouldn't be laughing because like this is meant to be a serious situation here. So that's my update. Well, that's my update so far with everything I've got printed out, because I've got more notes that I need to print out. I don't want to explain it again because I feel like I'm probably gonna know. You'll see me again another time with another lot of notes. Between now and the last time you saw me, there has been a substantial amount of time that's passed. This book was very bingeable. At first it wasn't, and then I did binge it all in a night, in the middle of the night, and I didn't want to give you reading updates. So that is why I took notes. So instead I have my little notes here. And I'm kind of just going to talk you through what I felt like as I was reading it. So the first thing is, I don't remember if I've said this, but there are other characters in this book called Amara and Dante, and I am very interested in them. In fact, I thought that they were already a couple, and they weren't. So when I was reading it, I was like, wait, they're like not together, but I need their book. And I know there is one. My face looks greasy. Moisturizer and sunscreen, people. It looks so bad. I know there are more books in the series, which I will be continuing, by the way, but I can't get them until I finished a lot of my physical TBR, and then I can. So that's gonna take me a while, but just know, I think Amara and Dante are gonna have a story, because I literally thought they were a couple, but they weren't. And I was like, wait, they're not a couple? What do you mean? Also, her voice. This book is like dark romance, right? Me personally, dark romance is not for me, because I'm just reading it like, But in this book, it's like violating women is something they abhor. Did you hear that? They don't like violating women. And pretty much every single book that's dark romance that gets recommended on like TikTok, all they do is just the violating of women. And it's like, that's not for me. So I don't want to read that. Also, I think this is going to be foreshadowing for the other books, because essentially Morana, who is the main character in this book, she was in a precarious situation and Amara helped her. And so Morana was like, thank you for taking care of me when I was vulnerable. I'll never forget this kindness. And then Amara was like, don't thank me for it, just do the same for me someday if I need it. So I think in the coming books, there's going to be a scene where she's going to need to help Amara. The last face you see before you die will be mine. See, there's something, okay, both either romantic or sinister about this thing. Because it's sinister in the sense of like, oh, he's going to be the one to take her down. Or it's like loving. It's like, I'll hold your hand as you take your last breath. Not for the first time in her life, it hit her how truly, truly alone she was. I didn't know someone wrote a book about me. I have nothing against Wattpad books, okay? I have nothing against them. This does feel a little Wattpad-y. It does. I've got my little thing here. As like, because without it, oh, I feel like this is better. I'm getting rid of the light. It was making me look funny. As the book progressed, it got more and more bingeable. Because at the start, I had a little bit of trouble, like, really getting into the story, to be honest. But as it progressed, I much preferred it. Definitely, with a lot of books, I need to, like, just get past the 100-page mark. I said, I think I need a Tristan Kane. Anyways, why do I look so bad? It's okay, you guys are not here for my appearance. You're here for the book reviews. Something I like about this book is that, like, there's not a lot of romance in it. And I love books that there's, like, a main plot and then a little bit of romance. Which, you know, you're probably like, well, then why do you read romance? Because that's what's popular, and I want to know what people are talking about. But, like, my favorite type, and also sometimes I do just want romance. Sometimes I do. But, like, I like when there's not a little bit. I like when there's, like, nothing and there's a little bit of romance and you get crumbs. Because then it's, like, worth it. And it's like, see? I'm invested. Whereas if they already, like, get together and it's, like, the 3rd page, I'm like, ew. Now, Morana, the main character, she intellectually is very, very smart, but she does keep putting herself in situations that do scare me. She just does things, and I suppose she's reckless, right? She's lonely. It's like, if I'm assuming what I think she's thinking, I'm gonna do these reckless things because what's the point? Do you know what that is? That's the indent of my spine. She puts herself in reckless situations, and I think is someone at the door? Is someone at the door? I personally think she does reckless things because she doesn't care whether or not she lives or dies. Basically, okay, so this is written in third person limited point of view. So what this means is that, yes, it's written in third person point of view, but we're only in Mirana's mind. We are only seeing the world from her perspective. So we don't know what's going on with anyone else. We only see what she sees. Aside from the start, in the like prologue, we saw like some other people. But at the end of this book, Tristan, he has a perspective. Kind of like how he became the like cold kind of person he is. I did not just do that. Alright. Moving forward, we're gonna pretend I never did that. It explains it. And that scene, it's sickening. That's what that is. This book does end a bit like on a cliffhanger. You know, it kind of is, because it kind of ends on something and it's like, okay, but like what now? Again, I think I've already touched on this. Is this book a little cringy? Yes. Yes, it is, but it definitely got better as like the book progressed. Like the level of cringe, like it went down because like at the start there's a lot of lines and things that were said and I was just like, this is serious. I shouldn't be laughing at this. This is not a laughing matter, but it's just the way it was written. That's kind of my 2 cents on this book. I'd say it's kind of like a book with dark situations happening and the guy's a little toxic. Do I recommend this book? I recommend you listen to everything I've said, and if this seems like something, then read it. But like, just keep in mind all the things that I said. He's talking about himself like he's a lion. Also, I didn't even realize this. I knew that it was a man, but like there's a girl's face there. It's like the city. Did I enjoy my time reading this? Yes I did. Hello everyone. So Twisted Love is going to be the book that we're discussing right now. It is currently the 21st of May. Don't ask me why I still have a aesthetic February background. Each month I was supposed to change it and then I couldn't find a nice one for March, so I stopped doing it. This book I got it used, that's why it's all bent out of shape. I did not do that. Buy used books. It's amazing. I like buying used books. I really do. That's not the point. The point is that I read this book a few months ago and I have not talked about it. Because let me tell you how I consumed this book. I was in a hospital. Wasn't me. I was visiting someone. Well, I was with someone who was visiting someone. I mean, I was visiting them too, but I was mainly the person who I was with, like, was visiting. Doesn't make any sense. So I was sitting in the hospital. Sorry, I'm parched. My throat's dry from talking, and I still have pages and pages of notes. Remember when everyone used to use that slurping sound? Okay, I'm gonna insert it so you know what I'm talking about, but like, it was this sound effect. Because Emma Chamberlain used it. I'm in a rabbit hole of just watching YouTubers who don't really post anymore, all their old videos. I was in the hospital and I did not have the book with me. First of all, I wouldn't ever read a book like this out in the wild just because I am a human who does feel intense embarrassment for things that I really shouldn't feel embarrassment for. Like, I'm literally talking about this on the internet, but I feel like there's some sort of illusion of safety. Because, you know, right now I'm just sitting in my room. I mean, you're watching this wherever you're watching this, whatever. Point is, I wouldn't go out in public while reading this. My arm's getting tired. First world problems. My arm is getting tired holding up a phone. I listened to this because someone uploaded the entire Twisted series onto YouTube. So, yeah. I have since checked. It has been taken down, but doesn't change the fact that I was like, I seized my opportunity. So I already had ordered these books, but as soon as I saw them, I was like, okay, I can't pass this up. Also the fact that I was sitting in the hospital room, because the person I was with, like, she was all like, oh, it's not, you're okay sitting here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine sitting here. So like, I brought my little like AirPods and I was listening to this book. And I have a lot to say about it. Because as I said, right, so these are my notes, right, all the unhighlighted parts. That's the part that I'm going to read that out to you, but I'll get to in a second. My mind it's very, like, scattered at the moment. I could not look people in the eye. I genuinely could not look people in the eye. This audiobook, like, I swear, I was just sort of sitting there and I was like, sometimes my AirPods, they're so quiet to me, but, like, everyone can hear what's being said and, like, what music is playing, so I get very nervous sometimes. So I was sitting very quietly, so I had to pay a lot of attention because I was like, because it's like, I feel like, what if someone comes to me and they can hear what's being said? I'm so glad whoever invented the feature where if AirPods disconnect, it pauses whatever you're listening to. Whoever invented that is a genius. And I love them. because my AirPods did disconnect. But thankfully, it paused the thing I was listening to. So then it just wasn't this audiobook blasting out for everyone to hear. Why is that pen? A purple pen? I'm seeing things. I genuinely swear that I just saw like a purple pen mark in there. Oh, I got something to talk about. No, I'm not talking about that yet. All of that was a long-winded way to say that I listened to this book in a hospital. Because of that, I could not tell you my thoughts as I was reading it. So I had to write them in my notes, which I often do anyways. I'm going to be reading this book today because I've heard a lot about it. And this was very popular. And I read the King of Wrath book first, which is, I feel like I would have appreciated that book a lot better if I had read this book series because there are cameos from the characters in this series. I would have appreciated it more, I think, because I saw Stella and Christian and I was like, I don't know who these people are. I was aware that they had the book, but like, it just would have been better. My opinion, so far as I prefer the twisted ones to the Kings of Sins. I've only read King of Wrath and King of Pride. I'm very excited for the Sloth one, which just came out, but I'm on a book buying ban. So until I get through a majority of my physical TBR, I can't read that one or the King of Greed one. So many people have read this book, and I have a fear of missing out when it comes to books. I want to know what people are talking about. When people talk about Alex Volkov, sorry, I was just checking to make sure that was his name. I want to know what they're talking about. And I have severe problems when people are talking about books and they're like, it was like when he did this, or, remember when this character did this, and I'm like, no. And then people are like, guys, I don't get it, explain. And then no one explains. So I don't like not knowing things. So then I have to read it. This book here, it was just very, very cringy. And I was listening to the audiobook. And I've said this before, I genuinely prefer contemporary romances in an audiobook because when there are the cringy lines and scenes, the person is just speaking past them. Especially because I listen to them in 2x speed because personally, that's how fast my brain goes. My brain goes that fast. So no, it's not like a big jump. It's not like I'm hearing little chipmunks squeaking in my ear. No, it's fine. But it was cringy even with the audio. No, sorry, it is a little bit cringy so far. I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be pretending that I haven't read it. Oh, guys, she didn't eat a gingerbread because of Gingy from Shrek. You know what? Shrek was a cultural phenomenon. Shrek is actually a cinematic masterpiece. All of those movies are a cinematic masterpiece. And you know what? Part of me just wants to have children so I can rewatch those movies with them. Yeah, maybe I should just become a babysitter. I'm actually a good babysitter, actually. I'm the oldest sibling, so I'm a good babysitter. One thing I like about these books is that is Shrek pop culture? Kind of like modern day stuff in them, but it's not like in your face. It's not like she brought up Shrek and then it's constantly brought up on every single page. I don't like when books are like so modern, it's like painful because it's like, you didn't have to say that. I am going to say this. These books feel Wattpad-y. Guess who read Wattpad when they were younger? Me. Okay? And there is something very nostalgic about reading these books. I don't even care. Because sometimes when you need a Wattpad-y book, you just want one. Basically, because I didn't explain it before, what this book is about is between Alex and Ava. Alex has a tortured past. Of course he does. He's a male main lead. Then his best friend, Josh, is like, I need you to look after my little sister. Okay? I'm going away. Look after her. And he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then they fall in love. This is the back if you wanted to like pause and read it, because I feel like I'm doing a terrible job of explaining that. Okay, back to my reading vlog. Alex has a tortured past because I think it's standard, especially if it's the first male main character in a series. They always have a very, very, very tortured past. All of them. Because it's kind of like, oh, that's why he's so mean. That's why. But then also I think it's important to note that the girl will also have like a terrible life as well. And then she's like the happiest, brightest, kindest person in the entire world. So something that Alex has just said is something that I wanted to talk about. He said, I don't need pictures. The memories are up here. And the problem is that was me. Okay, so when my life was adventurous and I was doing things and I was like constantly seeing people and constantly going on adventures, I had that side of mindset and I was like, oh, I don't need a picture because I'm just gonna remember it. And also I think part of me was like, I'm just gonna keep having these adventures and these, experiences. So like, I don't need pictures. Well, because guess what? Now I don't have an adventurous life and also I don't have any pictures. Well, I have some pictures, but they're like bad. Like they're not like, actually maybe it's not that bad. Like I just have random pictures that I would take on Snapchat, and so it's half like my face is often cut off and there's like people in the background and like they'd be like posing, but like half my, you know, that's kind of the pictures that I have. But beside the point. Oh wait, never mind. He has something called hyperthermia, which is basically you remember everything. Okay, so he's different to me. That's okay, but I don't have that. Okay, but part of me was like, yeah, I'm just gonna remember everything. And then it's just sort of like, wait, I think it would be nice if I did have, you know, a memory of that. Kind of makes me sad to think about now, but that's too late because we can't dwell on the past, can we? I have enough pictures of other things, so sometimes I tell myself like it's fine. I didn't get pictures for this specific situation because I have some from this. Whatever, moving on. You know what I wish? That like this might be okay. I wish, you know how we have memories. Okay, let me restart this. You know how we have memories? I wish we could take pictures in our minds and then have them transported to our phones. I actually just thought this idea through a little bit and just imagine all the nefarious people. They could do something horrible. They could commit a terrible act and then have it in their mind and then have it in video form. So, okay, I did not think about this very clearly. And also, how would that even work? Because imagine if someone tries to distort their memories. What's going on there? So actually, this would be a terrible idea and I need you to ignore everything I'm about to say. Okay, and have it be in that good of a quality. Same as sometimes when I'm driving and I'll see the sunset and I'm like, it's so pretty. I wish I could just like take a picture with my eyes in that specific quality and then I have that picture. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, especially with the memories though, because then it's like, yes, you can all live in the moment. And especially like a constant stuff, imagine that. No one would need a phone because if everyone's just experiencing it with their eyes and then, you know, that could be transported onto a device. I wish that was real. Am I giving you a headache by how much I'm moving this around? I'm sorry. I'm going to try to like hold it steady. Why do I look like this? It's okay, guys. I'm in my luteal phase. It's the phase of your menstrual cycle where you look really ugly, among other really terrible things. I used to always remember everything. Sorry, I'm venting here. I used to remember everything. My friends would call me, they didn't call me an elephant. In the way of like, she has the memory of an elephant. So yes, I used to be able to remember so many things. People would ask me about some situations because I was the one who always remembered everything. And now I can't remember anything. Like actually nothing. And I don't know what's happened. It's like I sort of turned, it was kind of like halfway through when I was 18. No, it actually started happening when I was like 17. I started forgetting things. But like now it's really bad. The other day I was out with my friends and they were like, remember this? And like they were sort of talking about the situation. And then one of my friends looked at me and she's like, do you remember that? And I was like, no. I said, I wasn't there for that. And they're like, yes, you were. And I was like, no, I wasn't. And then they pull up photographic evidence. And lo and behold, I'm a part of the situation they're talking about. Like that is me. But also I can't remember anything about that. That's what's scary because surely I should see like a picture and like it jogs my mind. And I'm like, no. So what's going on there? It's really scary. What did I do yesterday? I don't know. Oh, I know what I did yesterday. So I had to pick someone up from something. I'm someone who needs to get to places early. So what I did was I pulled into like to a random street somewhere near where I had to pick someone up. And I was just like waiting for the time to pass and then I could go and pick them up and it wouldn't be like, because it was like this thing. I was like, you got to pick me up at this time. Sorry, I'm being vague. I just don't like to give too much away now because I'm really paranoid about stalkers. Have you seen that show, Baby Reindeer? Anyways, I was sitting and I just felt like something was watching me. And I looked to my left and there was this weird sort of like doll situation thing. It was really scary and it was scaring me, but like I had to sit there and because there was no other spots anywhere else, so I just had to sit there. It was really creepy. How am I only on the second point? This is my problem. Once I get talking, I can't stop and it's actually getting on my nerves because can't I just like zip it? No, actually I can't. What was the point I was even making with this? Oh yeah, he said, I don't need pictures because I have memories. I don't know why I randomly started talking about that weird doll, but it was scary. Like, it was, like, actually terrifying, and it felt like it was watching me. So, if I get haunted, you know what did it. See, you know how I just said all of that, and part of me still feels like I need to elaborate and talk more on the topic? Which I don't. Regardless, this book is Brother's Best Friend. Oof. I suddenly just did that just then. All her friends seem fun and cool, so I now know all her friends and I've read all their stories, but past me doesn't. But her friends are Jules, Bridget, and Stella. I really like their friend group and I wish I had that kind of friend group. the guy, Alex, he needs to look after her. And actually, I don't even remember if he even did or not. I'm like, they're foreshadowing. Because essentially her friends are talking about him, and Ava is like defending him. And then she's like, I don't know why I'm defending him. There's no way he is listening to me. And I'm just like, why do I feel like he has a glass against the wall and is listening in? Or has like a secret security camera or a listening device? Does he have anything secretly set up? I can't remember. Something about this book though is that even though it was a bit cringy, like it was growing on me. I was reading it and then like I was really invested in it. Another thing about these books is that often there'll be some very good points about, which I feel like I often talk about. So I feel very seen. She says in this book, Ava, that DVDs are better than streaming because you have them. I agree. The amount of times I go on Netflix and it's like, I'll look through my list of movies and TV shows and I'll be like, leaving soon. Leaving soon, leaving soon. Don't even get me started on when they go back through and they like delete scenes from certain TV shows. Don't say it doesn't happen. They did it for Stranger Things. My biggest regret is not watching Saltburn in the movies because guess what? It's on Amazon Prime. I don't have that. So I can never watch Saltburn and I want to, and somehow I don't know any spoilers. Somehow it has not been spoiled for me. Well, actually it kind of has because I know something about the ending, but like I still want to, okay, so to be fair, like this song Murder on the Dance Floor was playing and everyone was like, oh, this fit the vibe. Do I even know? Someone dies and the other guy kills him. Who kills who? Don't know. Don't know about that. Don't tell me. Please don't spoil it for me. Okay, but like I want to watch it. But yeah, point being, DVDs are better than streaming. When was the last time I bought a DVD? Well, actually, I've never bought a DVD. But when I was a kid, at the supermarket, I would like beg my parents to get a DVD of a movie. And I'd be like, please, please, please. But if I really liked a movie, I think I'd buy the DVD of it. But the problem is that there are no like movies nowadays that I'd want to own. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to all the good movies? Guys, bring it back and stop with this commercial quality. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know how commercials had that really like, you look at a commercial and you can just tell that it looks like a commercial. That's what now movies are looking like. I don't like that. I like when there's a little bit of grain on it. Anyways, I'm looking at the next point I've made here, and I don't know what this is. It says, stop touching his back like a robot. They're a little cringy. What do you mean stop touching his back like a robot? What does that mean? I don't know. And then also, so, what is it with all these male main characters? They all attack Edward. All of them. You know Edward from Twilight, Edward Cullen? Every single male main character I read about, they all attack him. They call him like pasty, and they call him like a little sparkly vampire. Well, he is a sparkly vampire, but they all hate him. Oh, wait. So there's a bodyguard. A bodyguard said that birds are like rats. So you know what's really nice is that she made bad cookies for him on purpose because essentially she and her friends are like, okay, let's make him experience emotions because they're like, oh, he's like a robot, like he doesn't have any emotions. Oh, is that what I said about the robot? I think I remember now. I think it's because she was like touching his back being like, I'm trying to find a button. Like, ma'am, this is not that scene from Toy Story 3 where Buzz was turned bad so they all have to attack him and then they don't know how to put his settings on properly, so then he just speaks in Spanish. She and her friends, they're trying to make him experience different emotions, and one of them is disgust, I think, and she makes like these really disgusting cookies. He pretends to like them because he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. I think that Miss Anna, I think that she's a mastermind, okay? I think that she has this entire world mapped out because, like I said, I read all these books around the same time, so I don't remember which one it is, but Asher Donovan was the dude who was mentioned. He was mentioned in one of the books, and guess what? And I was like, you know, I feel like he's going to get a book. Guess what? He was in the Twisted series, right? He is getting a book. I knew it. She mentions the Harlow Club. Is that how you even say it? But she mentions the Harlow Club in this book here. She mentions it. And, like, it's such a big thing in, like, the Kings of Sin series because they're like billionaires. So I know about Valhalla Club because I read King of Wrathverse. Ava's ex is annoying, and I just feel like it's also standard in these books to have like an insufferable ex. If it's a girl, the ex is the worst person in the entire world, or he's like really annoying. And if it's the guy, the ex is like really clingy and she's all like, he's mine. Again, this book just reiterated my love for audiobooks. I love them, and they do count towards how many books you've consumed. Yes, technically you are not physically reading a book, but you are still gathering all the pieces of information. You were to talk to me about a book that you listened to and I read, we'd still be able to talk about it. There's this girl called Madeline, and she is very toxic. There is often in these books, again, there is that one girl and she really likes the main guy and she absolutely hates the girl that he ends up with. I think it's cute he calls her Sunshine. So, you know what? I think it's nice when like guys have like nice nicknames. I love it, but it can't be like one of those cringy nicknames. Powerless book by Lauren Roberts, the fantasy one. That book was fun. I would say it's like The Goblet of Fire and the Hunger Games. I don't really hear anyone talking about how it's the Goblet of Fire, though. Everyone's like, it's like the Hunger Games. It's literally like the Goblet of Fire, because with the Hunger Games, they're all dumped in an arena, and it's like, you fight to the death. But here, they have like challenges, and they go back to the room and don't get started. That maze challenge, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. That maze challenge was like so similar to the Goblet of Fire one, the last maze challenge. But yeah, he calls her like a vicious little thing. Ew! That is heinous. That is actually heinous. Alex calls her Sunshine. Because you know what? She's like sunshine. So I just think that's so cute. Also, this dude's so funny. Basically, there's this piece. I think it's artwork. She's like, it's so expensive. And he's like, oh, how much is it? And she's like, it's 40 grand. And he's like, oh, I thought you said it was expensive. She is very scared of something. And I'm not going to say what just because I don't want to like spoil it. But she's terrified of something. And there is a very good reason as to why she's scared of this thing. And he helps her with this fear. It's so beautiful, I could cry. You know, I really could cry. She's a what? Wanting defilement? Oh, wait. Why does he care so much about innocence? I hate in books when the main guy is just so, like, obsessed with, like, the innocence thing. And it's like, what? Ew. She keeps having nightmares about her mom doing something terrible to her. So naturally, of course, it's not going to be her mother doing terrible things to her. Typically how contemporary romance books go, the characters meet, there's the, oh, we're not going to be together, they get together, everything's fine, then there's a third act breakup, things fall apart, they get back together. That's typically how contemporary romances go. And I said here, I'm dreading the third act breakup because she keeps defending him against everyone. And I said the third act breakup is going to hurt. Because obviously there's going to be one. It's a contemporary romance. There's like other things like just not like the romance. I know this book is setting up intrigue for the other characters, but I don't care. It's working. In this series, I feel like it's done quite well with the intrigue situation. It's not like kind of thrown in your face as much. In my opinion, honestly, it could have been. I just got highlighter all over my blanket. I know you guys don't care, but like I finally finished this. I finished the notes for this page. Yay! I've got 3 more double-sided pages of notes to discuss here. She tells him, I love you. And he's like, you don't mean that. Ah! That was dramatic. I apologize. Yeah, there's so many things in this book that I was just like, I feel sick. And isn't it just so amazing that fictional things like movies and books and TV shows, like it's made up, but like it can make you feel. I sound like one of those guys that has taken LSD for the first time. You know what's really funny? The Count of Monte Cristo is Alex's favorite book. And guess what I have here? The Count of Monte Cristo. And guess who is going to be finishing this book in the last few days of May? Me! I am. Honestly, I would recommend this book. Okay, yes, it is a book with a lot of pages, but it was originally published in newspapers, I believe. So every single chapter like ends on a little cliffhanger, and it's very fast-paced and intriguing. There's a lot of things about betrayal, vengeance. It's a really interesting premise. Like this guy, he gets wronged because there are these jealous fools. The premise of the story, right, is this guy named Edmund. He is thriving. He's 19. He's moving up in the world. Not like me, because I'm 19 and I feel like my life is like, you know, the thing about being on rock bottom is there's only one way to go, up. Where did I get that from? I feel like that's probably from like one of those really inspirational movies. Maybe one of those sports movies. Yeah. Is it? Where is it from? I'm gonna look it up. The thing about hitting rock bottom is that there's only one place to go, and that's up. What is this? What a stupid ad.
And any leader can arm themselves with. They are the currency of humanity.
Isn't it funny that I got an Audible ad and I'm literally talking about books right now?
Audible. Start your free.
You know what's great about hitting rock bottom? There's only one way left to go, and that's up.
It's from Sing! It's from Sing!
You know what's great about hitting rock bottom? There's only one way left to go, and that's up.
I'm liking it. Oh yes, inspirational. One. I like how I said that to that commenter as if it wasn't from 2 years ago. And they definitely can't hear me. Anyways, moving forward. So Edmund, he's thriving, right? And there are these jealous fools that get him falsely in prison, and he's in prison for like 14 years in a dungeon. I'm not actually up to that part yet, but I am getting there. Okay, right now I'm to the part where like he's getting interrogated by people. During his incarceration, he then makes up a plan of revenge. No longer the naive sailor who disappeared into the dark fortress all those years ago. He reinvents himself as the charming, mysterious, and powerful Count of Monte Cristo. Charming, mysterious, powerful. I need more water. I ran out. There is nothing like a nice tall glass of water. Do you know where that's from? Please tell me you do.
Somebody give me a glass, because I just found me a tall drink of water.
I know why what's being said has to be said, but it's painful. I'd fallen prey to the same failings as all other humans, believing the best of somebody simply because they were there for you at your worst. Okay, I'm back after I just spent 10 minutes staring at a wall while I pondered that, and moving on. I said, I think it gets better as the book moves on. Now, why would he say that? Then I shake my head. Oh, yes. This is the part that, like, I was like, 2 months later, and I was like, what do you mean 2 months later? I wonder if Ralph is going to get a book. Do you reckon he will? Don't know who Ralph is, to be honest. No idea who he is. But, see, 2.5 months later. Alex is annoying me. I really want to see The Princess and the Bodyguard, which is great because it's the next book after this. I do not like him. Then I said I'd take him back. So, these are my notes. See, this is what I said. Was this book cringy? Yes. Was it the best thing ever? No. I don't care. I'm sorry, the others. Well, I already read the others. Being Twist Love is my least favorite one. So, I'm going to address something. I didn't bring it up, but I'm going to. He does sing in front of her. A lot of people have mixed feelings about it. A lot of people are like secondhand embarrassment. Other people are like, I think it's sweet. I've seen male main characters do a lot worse. So, do I recommend you read this book? I need you to think about everything that I've said about this book and then go into it, knowing that. Now, if you did want to read this book, I would not recommend you only read this book. Like, the only reason why I read this book really was because I wanted to read the other ones. Do I feel like this book is necessary? Yeah, a little bit, because we find a lot about like her family and everything, and in Jules and Josh's book, you know, Josh, that's his sister, so you kind of, you know, it's just, you have background information in this one. Yeah, he's very cringy in a lot of scenes. I definitely preferred Alex in the other books than in his own book. I definitely feel like I would have liked this book if I was much younger than I am now. And that's all I have to say about that. The next book I'm going to read is Binding 13. It's a very thick book. I've seen people say, read this series if you want to be in pain. So I guess I'm just going to read it. I like that it has the glossary and the pronunciations. It's set in 2005. That's the year that I was born. I'm on page 2 and I don't know if I like it. I think I'm gonna stop. Like, some of these lines, I'm actually a little bit like, what? Why would you say that? Like, that's such a weird line. Like, fried eggs? I found an audiobook. And listen to it. This is what it sounds like.
Look, ripped it open. My eyes wide as I stared down at the permission slip. My mother had signed it, with the permission slip gripped tightly in my hand.
I'm not listening to that. I'm going back to reading it. When it comes to popular book series and people talking about their favorite book series of all time, I feel like this book series gets brought up a lot, and it's not even over, which shows you the kind of reach that it has. And that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I feel like so many people say that they love this book series. So many people are like, this is my favorite of all time. I think that the reason why this is people's favorites is because these books, they're thick. There's a lot of words in here. And so for you to read the series, you're consuming a lot of words. You're consuming a lot of the characters' lives. And for you to not like it, it's almost like, well, then that reading it was like kind of a waste. I went into this book knowing that they mentioned she was small about 1,000,000 times. I think even though I went into it, I was just kind of like, wow, it literally is mentioned on every single page. She's trampling on the football field. Obviously, she does not play any sports, because if you play any sport, you know, you don't walk on the court, you don't walk on the field when someone is playing. That's just what she does. And the ball gets hit in the back of her head. When I got hit in the back of the head with the ball, I was in a kitchen and a guy threw it at my head because he was mad at me and I was not paying attention to him. That's my experience of getting hit in the head with the back of the ball. She has no excuse. Like, why? Like, get off the field. Like, it actually made me annoying. She also does fall over a lot. She's like a cartoon character. In the first edition of this book, a lot of offensive terms, a lot of offensive phrases. It's been taken out of this edition. This book was set in 2005. I'm not saying it's a weird year. Like, I got nothing against the year 2005. I was actually born in 2005. I just feel like it's a little bit strange as the fact that it's set in that time, and I don't know if that year has a significance for the author, because she did say, the author, that she did base this book off guys that she knew in school and she married Johnny. I don't know. I do have a question though. Why is it an adult romance and the characters are 15 and 17? That's weird. They're 16 and 17 for a bit. The age gap, I don't know why this age gap needed to be included. Johnny made such a big deal about it. There's a lot of inner monologue in this book. There are very interesting phrases in this book. Mutton dressed as lamb. Anyway, so this book, I didn't even say what it was about. Basically, this girl named Shannon, she gets really badly bullied in her public school, so she then goes to a private school where Johnny is. There's a file outlining kind of like why she moved because of how bad the bullying was, and he just gets his hands on it, and I'm just like, that's creepy. Also, how he gets it is because Gibbsy gets it from, like, the office lady. Now that office lady is a creep. She's a creep. This chapter title is interesting. I'm pretty sure at the end of this book, she also says that it was kind of based on real events. I feel like Gibbsy grew on me because when he was first introduced, some of the things he said, I would be like, ew. How many times is the word lad in this book? In her year, there was only 5 girls. The entire year, only 5 girls in the year. And not like because there was like a gala day or, you know, a field trip for a certain class. It was just, that's just how it is. And I'm like, it's a little bit strange. And again, the age gap, it just keeps getting brought up, and it's just like, it's making me uncomfortable because like he's so against it and he's so like, this is so weird, I'm so creepy, and then like he goes and like is thinking about her as well. Like it's just like, yeah. Also, Johnny has a groin injury, and that is talked about so much in this book. This book it's a little repetitive, so the audiobook really did help me, even though it was AI generated. Oh yeah, also, how small is she? Like, I think she's like 5 foot. You know how there's benches and there's a stool underneath it? She can't even reach that. In my life, I have been 5 foot tall before. How can she like not get on the stool? Like, these stools must be massive. Like, a stool that's like over 5 foot tall? How big is that? Also, she's just not coordinated at all because you can just like jump up on it. He had to like lift her up on it. If I didn't have the audiobook, I would have DNF'd it, and I wouldn't even be entertaining the thought of getting the next one, but I kind of want to know what happens now. And we eventually find out why the book is called Binding 13. It's because all the girls in his year kind of had this bet going. It was like, well, who can bind 13? Okay, he plays rugby and his jersey is 13. And they all like had this thing, was like, oh, who can like bind 13? And that's why it's called that, which, okay. She was laying on his bed. She was wearing a towel, nothing but a towel. I don't know how it's possible. Right now, I feel like her towel like rode up, and so she was just naked from the waist down, and he just saw her naked from the waist down, and she didn't even realize. She actually didn't even realize. She didn't even realize. Like, how do you not, like, would it not be cold? Like, the air's cold. How do you not realize? Those are the notes I have so far. I was in the middle of reading this book right here when I was like, hang on a second. I never finished updating this. Past me didn't manually give my reading updates. No, instead I put them in a notes document. So I just like pages of notes that I need to catch up on. If you're new, here's the drill. I pretend that I'm reading it. Also, if what's happened to my hand, I had an iron infusion today. Fashion! My hand is a little bit squashed, but that's okay. Something about this book is that I would say that sometimes it feels a little bit cartoonish. And the reason why I say that is because Shannon, the main character, she's constantly running into people, falling on the ground, running into people, then falling on the ground. There's also a girl in this book, and her name is Bella, and she is just a horrible girl. Please, someone please explain to me why this book is so thick, but the newer edition of this book is so much skinnier. I don't understand how a book can be like this thick and be condensed like this unless stuff is being taken out of it. I have a quote here, and I feel like that describes Shannon's character. Like a skittish foal, I hurried inside only to jump in surprise when the heavy door slammed closed behind us. First of all, he's like to come into the boys' changing room with me. As he's sitting down, he just elbows off a random school bag on a bench. Like, imagine you're coming back to the locker room and your bag is just like on the ground. On the dirty ground of a locker room. That is actually disgusting. And then also, because I couldn't help myself, I started like reading the rest of the page to figure out like what this was up to. And this again is just kind of shows you more about her character. He gives her some sort of tablet. He holds them out to her and she just can't take the tablets from his fingers. So she tries again and again. She like knocks them out of his hands and then lands on the dirty ground, and he just picks them up and just like wipes them on his hoodie, and he's like, take it. Germs? Germs? Please. The germs. I just feel like there are so many conversations and so many thought processes that could have been condensed down considerably. Shannon's dad is a vile, horrible man. Now I know a bit more about Shannon's mum. It's a very complex situation, but like, her poor children. I'm back, but I have a slight change in location, and if you're wondering why this book's behind me, I've taken all my books off my TBR cart. I did that in an attempt to stress myself out and motivate myself to read more. It didn't work, so now they've had to move locations. I have like 120 something unread books, and one of them I literally can't even find anywhere. I don't know where it is. It's missing. Will I reread this specific book? Probably not. I feel like there's a possibility that I could have said this, but also I can't remember if I have or not. So I'm going to say it again. If someone has a Kindle, please search up, or if you have like a PDF document of this, please Control F it or whatever the equivalent is and figure out how many times the word lad is said. Johnny has a groin injury, and yes, it is talked about so much with just hyper specific detail. Shannon is kind of in a little friend group with Claire. I am very interested in, for her book with Gibbsy. Very excited for that. Pretty sure that literally just came out. It's May now. Why did my voice like quiver? But there's also another girl. Her name is Lizzie. The mean friend. She's mean. But also she's very fiercely protective of Shannon at the start a little bit. Now, there is a bus scene in this book. I kind of recall it. Not really. It's very strange. Shannon, she does a little peculiar things. Like when she's looking for Johnny, she gets on the ground and is like looking, around people's legs. The way that Johnny's injury is described is very like detailed, and there's so many parts where like infected in the stitches, and I just felt sick. The pus leaking from the wound was a reddish yellow color. She kisses him. He's like, Shannon, please. She kisses him again. He's like, I can't. She kisses it again. He's like, we can't. And then she's like, I'm sorry. I did it again. And then she like tries to run away. Okay, I said this. Hello? Her dad? He's an evil man. And her mother? How dare she? Massive cliffhanger. There is. We get some bonus content at the back of this because there's a situation here where she goes to the cinema. You'd think that because this book was so long, there'd be no instances of telling, but there are some instances where it's like, and then we did this. And it's like, could we not have seen that? And I did say that I did feel hollow at the end of the book. Obviously, now this has been a very long time since I read this book, so I don't feel hollow anymore. My last final thought about this was I felt like the age gap was unnecessary because all he kept talking about was how weird it was, how much younger she was, and he kept going on and on and on and on about it. I'm going to show you a really quick glimpse at like my TBR because I'm not going to make a video about it. Also, the book that I can't find is Wildfire by Hannah Grace, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise because I did read Icebreaker. Did I already tell this story? The only reason I have the books is because someone I know was like, I hate these. Here you go. I read Icebreaker. I read Icebreaker when it first came out, and before the best friend's name was changed. How did I read it? I read it online. I just had no concern for like possibly getting like a virus on like any of my devices back then. I do now, but like back then, like I didn't. These are kind of like my thriller books and my kind of like scary books. This is my romance situation thing that I have going on here. This is all my fantasy. This is just like other books. I don't really know what kind of situation is there. Also, this book, right, I was literally sent like 17 copies of this, and this one is kind of battered up, and I'm really annoyed at myself that I didn't just like swap this one for like a better edition. Some kind of like horror books there, and then I have some dark academia books. And then here is kind of random, like this technically like doesn't count, but it's like if you wanted to go to Paris. This is like a memoir. This is something else. 2 random books you never heard of. That one, Lord of the Rings, The Nutcracker, which I can't read until, And then this is my classics that I have. Okay, and that's my TBR. Unfortunately, I have added to it, but like now I'm actually not buying anymore. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!